according to Moody's, primary issuance by African sovereigns has already reached $8 billion, its highest level ever, with significant potential for Africa to increase use of international capital market finance in the medium to long term, with only 14 out of 54 countries in Africa having issued foreign currency denominated instruments on the international market. Joining us on the line from New York is Aurelian Mali, Vice President and Senior Analyst at Moody's. Aurelian, thank you so much for joining us. That number sticks out for me, 14 out of 54 African countries having issued up until now. Is there scope to increase financing from the international markets, and what should African countries be doing to leverage international debt markets?
Yes, good morning. In this report that we published at Moody's, we compounded all the numbers from issuance from sovereign, and we not only it's 8 billion from the beginning of the year, so it's historical level, but it is likely to reach maybe 10 billion if you include the Senegalese note that is coming before the end of the year, and also the loan participation notes from Tanzania and Mozambique that have not been added to this 8 billion. The demand is for timely information will also increase with this issuance. We expect the trend to continue, and over the coming years. The big question is that also it's that these issuances have not been tested. We have wave of new issuance, and maybe in a few years they will need to be rolled over. The African countries, in fact, they need to issue debt because for some the low level of development of their capital market, but also to access long-term funding. This is the first step that will open the door for the utilities, the bank, and also the regions that will need also to access long-term funding.
Aurelian, how does the uncertainty over when the U.S. Federal Reserve is likely to scale back on its monthly bond buying program, how does that affect the cost of the bonds that are issued by African governments?
So it's clear that all the discussion about tapering off U.S. monetary easing had an effect on issuance by sovereign in Africa. They are the same than elsewhere. You saw that, for example, in the oversubscription level that dropped right after the Bernanke speech. Rwanda issuance 3 days before the speech was 8.8 time oversubscribed. Then you had Nigeria and Ghana. The rate was 4.5 and 2.7 time oversubscribed. So you see the difference. That being said, it's clear that the trend is going to continue because there is a structural need for African countries to access long-term funding. But more importantly, the interest from investors is likely to continue because you have a structural resilience for Africa, the region as a whole, that is going to continue to grow to 5 to 6%. So this is extremely important that timely information for investor issuers and also the interaction between the two are going up. And Moody's is accompanying these changes and this growing issuance by African sovereigns.